In a KION special report tonight, spending for law enforcement has undergone cuts, and also it isn't what it used to be. Different departments on the Central Coast say this, coupled with increasing calls for service, is now putting a strain on the ability to serve and protect in their communities. KION's Josh Cristianto has this special report for us.
Hundreds of calls for service over the 4th of July weekend kept police officers and sheriff's deputies busy all across the Central Coast. In Salinas, police responded to a total of 615 calls for service related to fireworks alone during the month of June and the first days of July. Summer months are known to see more violence, and people are free from any shelter-in-place orders.
We are definitely picking up right now. Our call volume's increasing.
Salinas police handle around 110 to 120,000 calls per year. Meanwhile, the Monterey County Sheriff's Office says their service calls have been increasing over the years. The Sheriff's Office says they've already seen an increase in violent crime, 141 incidents this year so far compared to 119 last year. That's in addition to all other calls they respond to. At both agencies, budget cuts are creating a staffing shortage, with responding officers and deputies being stretched.
There are days when they're going call to call. When you complete one call and you're getting called to another call.
With call volume picking up and we're not adding any officers to our ranks, we just don't have another solution.
After the Salinas City Council approved their budget for this fiscal year, PD was left with 15 sworn officer positions frozen, along with 6.5 civilian positions. There's a total of 149 officers now, down 38 from the department's peak years ago. Only 72 officers can be spread out over 4 shifts per day, with many working overtime. And at the Monterey County Sheriff's Office, 17 sworn positions were frozen last fiscal year. Out of those, 7 were completely eliminated this year. There are 57 patrol deputies now, down from 64 a year ago. The Sheriff's Office also says increasing costs and staffing requirements at the jail also explain why patrol staffing is shrinking. Still, groups like MILPA, which are proponents of police reform, argue taking funds from law enforcement to use for community development and prevention will have a greater impact on fighting crime.
When you look at budgets when 45% of the city budget goes to a police department and only 13% goes to libraries and parks, there's a bigger discussion around what does public safety really need.
MILPA doesn't believe in abolishing the police entirely, but they want to see changes in how cities and counties approach the issue.
If there's more opportunities for youth out in the community, there's more opportunities not to get into trouble.
Both Sheriff Bernal and Chief Fresse believe the national conversation about defunding the police have impacted departments on the Central Coast. They say it all boils down to people understanding the fewer officers out on patrol, the slower the response is for residents.
Our response times are going to take a lot longer, with fewer deputies out on the streets, patrolling over 3,700 square miles. So we're keeping our heads above water.
Sometimes we have so many priority calls coming in, either at one time or over the course of about 15 to 20 minutes, that we simply cannot get to the non-emergency calls.
Law enforcement hopes it doesn't take an unanswered emergency to change people's perspective on the importance of funding, while community groups hope that prevention programs drive crime down. Reporting in Salinas, Josh Cristianto, KION News Channel 546.